Abaddon the Despoiler. Abaddon the Despoiler. Abaddon the Arch-Fiend. Abaddon who has led endless black crusades against the horrified worlds of mankind's fragile imperium. The inhuman monster whose name has become a tenfold curse for the 10,000 years of terror and desolation he has reigned upon the galaxy he once helped to conquer, in the name of the Emperor of Mankind. Long ago, Abaddon was a great hero, a mighty warrior who battled in humanity's wars of expansion and retribution. He was captain of the Lunar Wars, first company during the Great Crusade, and followed Horus from ancient terror to conquer the distant stars. The Lunar Wolves battled across uncounted worlds to free them from alien tyranny or the taint of chaos. And Abaddon was ever at the fore. He worshipped the War Master like a god, and Horus treated him as his most favoured son. Indeed, some whispered that he was in truth the clone son of the Primarch himself, product of the earliest primogenitor experimentation. None were prouder than he when the Emperor renamed the Legion the Sons of Horus in honour of the War Master's accomplishments in the Ullanor Crusade. Long ago, Abaddon was a great hero, a mighty warrior who battled in humanity's wars of expansion and retribution. He was captain of the Lunar Wars, first company during the Great Crusade, and followed Horus from ancient terror to conquer the distant stars. The Lunar Wolves battled across uncounted worlds to free them from alien tyranny or the taint of chaos. And Abaddon was ever at the fore. He worshipped the War Master like a god, and Horus treated him as his most favoured son. Indeed, some whispered that he was in truth the clone son of the Primarch himself, product of the earliest primogenitor experimentation. None were prouder than he when the Emperor renamed the Legion the Sons of Horus in honour of the War Master's accomplishments in the Ullanor Crusade. Abaddon, the Horus Heresy. When the heresy came, it was clear that Abaddon's loyalty was to his Primarch and not the distant Emperor of Mankind. He led the Terminator-armoured Sons of Horus in campaigns on Isvan, Yarant, and in the siege of the Imperial Palace on Earth. Abaddon fought Imperial Fist Terminators aboard Horus's battle barge in the final trap the War Master laid to destroy the Emperor, and his anguish at Horus's defeat in that final conflict drove him deeper into madness and hatred than any mortal should ever sink. Abaddon led the Sons of Horus in a furious counterattack that reclaimed the body of his beloved War Master and drove the Imperial forces from his battle barge. For himself, he took Horus's lightning claw, tearing it from the War Master's armour with a howl of hatred which echoed through the great ship. As the rebel fleet scattered in confusion, Horus's great battle barge disappeared into warp space and set course for the Eye of Terror. Abaddon passed from mortal space into legend. The Black Crusades. When Abaddon returned, it was the head of a diabolic horde which ravaged entire systems around the Eye of Terror before the Imperium could muster the strength to halt it. Planet after planet fell in an apocalypse of fire and steel before his traitor legionnaires. The hordes of Abaddon were only driven back at bitter cost by combined efforts of Titan legions and Space Marine chapters, and this was but the first of Abaddon's Black Crusades against the Imperium. Abaddon dreams of forging a diabolic empire of his own from the blazing ruins of the shattered Imperium. Each world, each city destroyed, each life crushed is a step closer to wiping the canvas clean so that he can make his mark upon the galaxy. Abaddon victorious. At El Fanor, he led the charge against the gates of the citadel of Cromark. The Cromark had built his fortress well. It had only one gate, and that was of solid adamantium, fully 3 meters thick. Only 1 in 10 of those that followed Abaddon through the barrage of fire from the walls reached the gates, and there they were trapped by heavy bolters to the left and right. But Abaddon held aloft his demon sword, black fires burning along its edges, and swept it down with a deafening bellow of fury. The gates were harder than diamond and stronger than steel, but they split like cordwood before that blow, and demons feasted on the Cromark and his kin that night. When the Blood Angels joined battle against the Horde at Macan, Abaddon singled out the sons of Sanguinius with cold, implacable fury. He led a band of Khorne berserkers into the teeth of the Blood Angels' devastated positions. Only a handful of the berserkers reached the hilltop strongpoint that even the Blood Angels' own assault troops could not dislodge the frenzied warband and recapture the bodies of their fallen comrades. Abaddon has led 12 Black Crusades against the Imperium. Some have been great invasions of the whole legions of the lost and the damned. Others have been vicious raids with only a few companies of the most deadly Chaos Space Marines at his command. Each attack has sent the Imperium reeling and ravaged worlds close to the Eye of Terror. The High Lords of Terror live in fear of the day that Abaddon unites all of the traitor legions into an unstoppable horde and returns to play out the last acts of the treachery began by Horus 10,000 years ago.